What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Christian Rivera here. I am back once again, sooner than later, like I promised in my last video, in which I also told you that I'm going to be expanding into topics outside of just classic menswear, primarily firearms, since I am such a big fan. And I know that's going to piss some people off, so let's just take a couple of seconds to let them unsubscribe. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. So anyway, if you're new here, you might be here for one of two reasons. Either one, you're doing research looking into picking up your first handgun, or two, you've already purchased the Taurus G2C and you're watching a bunch of videos to try to get a glimpse into what's in store for you ahead. And although I may not have any awesome gunslinging intros with generic rock music to offer you, I do offer an honest, unbiased, and at least somewhat educated opinion based on my 2 years of shooting, concealed carrying, absorbing information from not only the internet, but real life gun owners in the flesh. So in today's video, I'm gonna share with you my experience with the Taurus G2C 9mm through about 1,500 rounds, as well as the Keeptinkering aftermarket trigger that I installed, and hopefully I can bring you some information that you haven't picked up in another video. The Taurus G2C was my first gun, and I picked it up about 2 years ago. Unfortunately, I got a late start to guns since I was raised in the communist country of New York City. The G2C is very often a first handgun for a lot of folks due to its price, and I'm gonna say it now, it's value. You get a lot of gun for $238. The Brazilian manufacturer has had its fair share of issues, but most people will agree that in recent years, they've really stepped up their game. So what do you get for $200? I'm gonna start with one of its strengths, which is that it's one of the best guns that I've ever held in terms of ergonomics. I'd say I have about average size hands and it fits into mine just perfectly. There's plenty of texture in the grip. Love the indentations on the side of the frame to rest your support thumb for recoil management. Love the placement of the controls. Operation of the mag release, slide stop, and thumb safety has always been smooth for me. But most importantly, with the standard 12-round mag, you get a full 5-finger grip on the gun. Me personally, if I don't have that and my pinky is hanging off of it as it would with a SIG P365 or a Glock 26, I don't want anything to do with it. Having that last finger on the grip is pivotal when it comes to reducing muzzle flip. This is as small as I would go for a carry pistol. Anything smaller sacrifices too much shootability. And naturally, especially if you're new to concealed carry, you think you want to go smaller so you can hide it better, but trust me, don't let that paranoia influence you to do so. There's so much more to concealing a gun than just sticking it in a holster and putting it in your pants. Whether it's how you wear your clothing, where you place your holster on your waistband, or tilting the clip on your belt, there's a lot you can do. In fact, I find the G2C so easy to conceal that since then, I've upgraded to a significantly bigger pistol, but I'll talk about that in another video. I think something that people don't put enough thought into when they're buying their first handgun is manual safety. There is a lot to weigh out on both sides. So obviously, if you go with the G2C, you're going with the manual safety. And for those of you who don't know, not all guns have these. When I was new to guns, I needed to have one. To me, the guys that carry guns without thumb safeties were insane. But about half a year into carrying and plenty of dry fire practice, I shed that need for the thumb safety. If you keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire, and you always watch your gun into the holster, not trying to be a hotshot, doing it all fast without looking, to make sure that clothing hasn't bunched up into the holster or a spent casing has fallen into there, your gun's not gonna go off. Unless, of course, you have a P320, then who the fuck knows? But if you do go with a manual safety, that's another additional step that you're gonna have to go through to ready your weapon in a self-defense situation. You're gonna have to practice that draw stroke hundreds and thousands of times to ingrain it into your muscle memory. And the reality is, there will always be that chance that you screw it up and end up pulling the trigger and nothing happens. And another thing no one talks about is accidentally flipping the safety on while you're in the middle of shooting. It's happened to me on the range with this gun, and it's also happened while shooting 1911s.
You haven't even taken the safety off, rookie.
The factory trigger comes with a trigger safety, which I think when combined with a manual safety and the instruction booklet telling you to carry on an empty chamber is just fucking ridiculous. But straight up, even as a newborn in the gun world, I knew that this was a very long trigger pull. So about 500 rounds in, I did some digging and came across Keeptinkering.com. It's a dude out of Texas who makes affordable aftermarket triggers for Taurus handguns. There's different design choices to choose from, but I like to keep it simple. One trigger reduces some travel length while retaining the double action restrike capability that the G2C comes standard with, while I went with the option that drops that feature but shortens the trigger pull even more. I installed it myself and it was quite the pain in the fucking ass, but it was a good learning experience. Excellent boost in performance that is felt immediately and allows me to shoot much faster. And now the most important category, reliability. More reliable than you think, but not as reliable as you need it to be. In about 1,500 rounds, I've got like 5 or 6 malfunctions with it, but to the gun's defense, there have been explanations for all of them. 2 or 3 of them came inside 250 rounds with these pieces of shits. Plus, I wasn't cleaning, lubing, or gripping my gun too well at that time anyway. For the rest of them, the gun was pretty dirty. But approximately 650 rounds into my new Walther PDP, it has not had one hiccup.
I'm reliable.
Another one of my favorite sayings is buy once, cry once. I highly recommend that you spend the extra $300 to $400 or so to get yourself something along the lines of a Glock or a Walther, Smith & Wesson, HK. But if that's not an option for you to do so, then I say yes, get yourself a G2C. I mean, it's better than not having a gun. Just make sure you clean it and lube it after every range session. Don't be that guy walking around with a dirty gun, whether your gun's $200 or $2,000. You know, take care of your shit so your shit can take care of you. And don't go crazy tricking it out. As much as my aftermarket trigger was an improvement, messing with a carry gun's internals has led to reliability issues for a lot of gun owners. And who's to say if that's not the case with mine? Stick to factory internals with a carry gun. If you want to tinker and Gucci a gun out, do it with a range toy, not with something that you carry on you every day. As much as that's going to piss some people off, oh, well, I got this trigger in my gun. Leave the internals alone on a carry gun. Leave them alone. But I still keep this because I have an attachment to it. I mean, it's my first gun. Plus, it is smaller, so I keep it in case I need something on the smaller side. I'd also like to leave it home so that my wife is armed when I'm not home. And then it's also cool to be able to do shit like this. Guys and gals, like and subscribe if you're digging the content. There's plenty of gun videos up on deck coming real soon, most notably a first impressions video on my Zastava Z-Pap M70 AK-47. Jump down in the comments, let me know how your G2C or G3C, same shit, has treated you. Or just give me your thoughts on the weapon, even if you don't own one yourself. Till next time, hopefully very soon. Peace.